how to save your life and lead with eternal impact. The cross is not a metaphor. There's a tension we don't talk about enough, especially not in the boardroom, in startup pitches, or when drafting vision statements. It's the tension between building a life and surrendering one, between chasing your calling and clutching your comfort, between leading with excellence and following with obedience. Jesus names this tension in Mark 8:35 with a clarity that leaves no room for spin. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of the good news, you will save it. Now, I know you didn't show up today looking for a sermon. But let's be real. If your business, leadership, or daily hustle has anything to do with purpose, you can't afford to ignore what Jesus is saying here. Because this verse isn't just spiritual, it's strategic. It's about how you live, lead, and love in a way that actually matters. So let's dig in. The cross is not a metaphor. For Jesus, the cross wasn't a teaching tool or a symbol on a wall. It was a literal beam of wood that he carried on bloodied shoulders, stumbling toward death for the sake of love. And when he says, "Take up your cross and follow me," he's not talking about inconvenience or spiritual discipline. He's talking about the kind of surrender that hurts, the kind that costs you something. Now, translate that to your real life. Taking up your cross in business might look like telling the truth in a room where spin is celebrated. It might mean turning down a deal that compromises your values or walking away from a role that feeds your ego but starves your soul. Taking up your cross in life might mean letting go of your plan so you can actually follow God's. Hard? Always. Worth it? Eternally. The lie of the good life. We've all been sold something, a vision of life that promises security, applause, and fulfillment if we just work hard enough, market smart enough, optimize well enough. And hey, I'm all for strategic thinking. But here's the problem. You can't hustle your way into peace. The truth Jesus lays out in Mark 8:35 is uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. If you try to save your life, protect it, preserve it, or control it, you will lose it. Period. This is a paradox the world doesn't understand. It says, care for yourself first. Build your empire. Follow your dreams. Jesus says, lose your life. Lay it down. Surrender your version of success so I can give you something better. Let that sink in. The life you're working so hard to secure might be the very thing you need to lose. The real ROI of surrender. Let's talk about return on investment. We know how to track KPIs, conversions, and compound growth. But what's the ROI of dying to self? What's the gain from giving up your life for Christ's sake and the gospel? The answer is everything that actually matters. Peace that isn't tied to performance. Purpose that's deeper than profit. Joy that doesn't disappear when the market crashes. The cross is costly, but the reward is resurrection. When Jesus invites you to give up your life, he's not asking you to become less. He's inviting you to become who you actually are. Free from fear, rooted in truth, unleashed with kingdom impact. You're still going to suffer, so make it count. Let's be clear. Following Jesus doesn't spare you from pain. You'll still suffer. You'll face hardship whether you follow him or not. But here's the difference. Suffering without surrender leads to burnout, bitterness, and wasted energy. Suffering with surrender births something eternal. Think about your career, your team, your influence. Are you leveraging your platform for impact or protecting it out of fear? Are you choosing comfort over calling? Because here's the haunting irony. If you refuse to carry your cross, you'll still hurt. But you'll miss the sacred joy that comes from knowing it mattered, that your pain wasn't pointless, that your no to the world was a loud yes to the kingdom. The leadership shift that changes everything. This isn't just about your soul, it's about your strategy. Leaders who follow Jesus with their whole lives make decisions differently. They don't just look for short-term wins. They play the eternal game. They aren't driven by applause, they're anchored in identity. They don't manipulate, they serve. When Jesus is Lord over your business, your time, and your voice, the fruit is deeper than revenue. It's legacy, it's integrity. It's the kind of influence that doesn't rot when pressure hits. And that kind of leadership? That's what the world is desperate for. From self-preservation to gospel participation. Jesus didn't say, "Lay down your life and walk away." He said, "Lay it down for my sake and the gospel." That means your surrender isn't passive. It's powerful. It's participatory. You're not just laying down dreams. You're stepping into a mission that spans eternity. Your decisions at work can reflect His kingdom. Your leadership can carry His character. Your sacrifice can seed someone else's salvation. This isn't about losing your life into a void. It's about investing it into God's story. A cross today, a crown tomorrow. Let's land this with hope. Jesus never promised ease, but He did promise life. The kind of life that death can't touch. The kind of joy that outlives the storm. The kind of leadership that reflects eternity. Taking up your cross is an act for today, but resurrection is the reward of forever. So yes, this path is hard, but it is holy. It is worth it. It is the only way to save the one life you've been given. Final challenge. What will you lose today? I'll leave you with this question, and I want you to sit with it. What part of your life are you clutching so tightly that Jesus can't fill it? Is it your ambition? Your reputation? Your comfort? Your version of success? If Jesus asked you to lose it, would you? Because in the upside-down kingdom, the only way to save your life is to give it away. For His sake, for the gospel, for the glory of God and the good of others. Now go lead like it matters, because it does.